Welcome back, students. This is the absolute last part of your Holiday Toy Maker project. Now that you have created an online graph, like the one you see here on the left, you need to transfer or copy this exact graph, very similar in the way that it's printed here, to the paper graph, because this is the one I'm most likely going to be seeing. So you need to take as much information as you have, such as the title, the numbers on the side here, the information down below, and any other information that you see, and copy it with pens, pencils, markers, anything to make it colorful, stand out, and match this graph to the left. Let me show you how. One of the first things you're going to copy is the title. You can see there's space at the top of the page, and that's where I want you to put your toy company's name, the words profit sheet, and whatever you called your toy right there. Notice that I wrote these two in pen, and then I took a black marker to make this toy name stand out. The second thing that you're going to want to do is copy down all of the numbers that you see on the y-axis, which is the one up and down. Where it says profit amount here, I want you to write the words profit amount because that's the amount of profit that you made. Take a look that I spaced the numbers out exactly how they spaced them out. I counted that there are 15 blocks and then I tried to separate it by every third one to make sure, hey, my 10,000 is on the third line, my 20,000 is on the sixth, my 30,000 is on the ninth line, my 40,000 is on the 12th, and then my 50,000, which is the top number, is on the 15th and final line. I also marked in between these little boxes, in between 10,000 and 20,000 would be about 15,000. In between the 20,000 and 30,000, I marked in pencil that it's 25,000. In between 30,000 and 40,000 is 35,000, and in between 40,000 and 50,000, I wrote the number 45,000. That's because right in between those is about how much, and you're going to want to write those down so that you can accurately see if you have a number like we do on the very first one that I'm pointing out. First sales week is $13,713. Well, then when I create the purple graph here and notice that the colors do not have to match, so even though it's green over here, I'm using purple on my actual create a graph, I'm still going to make sure that it's marked right around where, I know you can't really see it, but 15,000 is marked on the paper. That 15,000 isn't exactly how much I made, but that 15,000 is more or less right in this block. So I create a purple bar graph that spans 2 rows so that it's a little bit wide, and it gets close to the 15,000 because I made $13,713. Now, the only other thing I didn't do is I didn't write the number like you can see on the graph here, 13,713. I should write that down, which is what I'm doing right now. $13,713 is how much profit I made in week 1. And then I just move over to week number 2. I label the fact that it's week 2. And then I draw my graph. In week 2, I made $35,433. So in the graph that I'm creating here, you can see here's my 30,000, this is 35,000, and this is 40,000. So it would make sense that where I have marked 35,000, which is right in the middle of these boxes here, my yellow bar is going to go just above that because I made $35,433. I'm going to do the same exact thing for week 3. You can see, by the way, I'm labeling all of these weeks at the bottom because if I move the camera down, you can tell that I'm going to label this my holiday sales weeks. My third week, I made $27,426. So I go over to the $25,000 mark, and a little bit above that would be about $27,000. Obviously, that's going to be before the $30,000 mark, so I'm going to move my finger over and then copy it down and write down the amount that I made, which is $27,426. Finally, I left this last one blank so I can show you exactly how I'm going to create this last one. I'm going to take my green marker, I'm going to look at how much I made using the online source, which you should be doing for your own graph. Look at how much you made on your own online graph, and then copy it to your actual paper. So I made almost $46,000. Well, if I look over here, I have $45,000, which is right about in the middle. So I probably want to go to this very last line before the $50,000 mark, because I didn't make $50,000, but I did make over $40,000 and I made over $45,000. So my marking should go to about this point right here, and I want to carry that all the way down to the bottom, and I like to span it so it's nice and visible, 2 blocks, and then shade it in. You can color this in to a different color, you can add designs, do whatever you'd like. As long as the bar represents how much profit you made in that week, then you're doing it correctly. And where do I get that information from? The online graph that I created to start this part of the project. Notice again that I've labeled the bottom that this is my holiday sales week number 4, and I've got to mark how much profit I made during that week, which is $45,908. Some students like to then write in their total profit, which again came from that final box on the previous page, but you can leave it just like this, because if I'm comparing this online graph to the graph that I just created, they look fairly similar. It helps me space out the amount of money for profit per week. It helps me space out the weeks that I have on the bottom, and I'm set to go. And by the end of the Toymaker project, you now have all of the information that you need that needs to be stapled and handed in to Mr. Panza, who will look at the grading rubric and score it based on your multiplication and subtraction, as well as this graph. I hope these videos have helped and that you've had some fun during this project. Happy holidays, everyone!